disqualified for the GOAT conversation because he lost to
No. Not only that, the meat.
Even though he got technically
I'm just saying, when you got the steroid cloud around you, and you got 2 losses, and arguably another loss on your record, how you gonna be? He's an excellent fighter. Don't get me wrong. He's a great fighter.
the fighter of this generation.
He's a great fighter. He's a great fighter. When you got steroid
things over your head,
right? When you got that kind of stuff, when you ain't 100% clean,
can't be in that conversation.
you can't be in the conversation.
It's for real. That's what happens to people that take steroids. When you take steroids, you have to know what you're doing. You got to look at the end. So you got to say to yourself, do I really want to get caught with that? What does it do to me? Do I want to really take that chance? Is all this money for this? Is this what I'm doing to myself? No.
You got a 6-month suspension.
Everybody's cheap.
No.
The ones who are getting caught.
No.
Are the ones who are getting punished.
People that cheat don't believe in themselves.
Exactly.
And people that cheat don't want to do the work. They don't want to do the work that it takes to be a champion. They want to do it like easy way. Oh, let me just pump this. It'll make me work hard. And your brain has to make you work hard. That's what makes you work hard. Don't take a pill or a shot to make you work hard. And at the end of the day, you see when I was boxing guys that were on steroids, I didn't care. You know why? Because nothing protects this. Steroids don't protect this. It just takes this one right here, and they're done. And then if you're on steroids again, and I'm hitting you to the body, you ain't gonna take it. So you have all those things. We know your secret. We know what to do. I knew what to do when I boxed a couple of guys that were on steroids.
You knew there were steroids. Probably could improve.
Absolutely.
Well, this is an issue we're gonna have until the punishment and the crime is like the punishment got to fit the crime. Until they start, this is what I think they should do, right? I think whenever you're in a championship fight, you should get 20% of your purse until all the testing comes back. And if it comes back, you're dirty, you pop dirty, half should go to commission, half should go to the fighter.
No, commission.
Man, they gonna get there. They're gonna get there. So until you and then you should have a 2 or 3 year ban, right? Where you don't get no money. So now your whole team gonna make sure you're steroid free because that 20%, if they getting a percentage of the 20%, that's not what they signed up for, right? So if you hit them in the pocket, first of all, they will stop. You hit them in the pocket, and then you give them a 2-year ban, 3-year ban, because what people don't understand, this is attempted murder. This is attempted murder. When you go in there and weaponize yourself to a degree where you can actually kill, you can kill somebody without it. But you want to do more to hurt somebody. This somebody's father. This somebody's son. This somebody's brother. You know what I'm saying? So why would you go in there and try to hurt somebody? You go in there to hurt them. What I'm saying, to intentionally juice yourself up, to really be able to, you can hit somebody the wrong way and change their life forever. You know, and when people keep slapping them on the wrist, and I just want to see good fights, and they're gonna keep doing it. Take the money and suspend it.
They're looking to repeal the Ali Act, which you both fought under, which should have protected you. What do you think about the change in the business of boxing in that regard?
I just got 2. You want to go first?
No, I was just gonna say that part of the boxing business really should belong to the manager. The manager needs to fight for the fighter, so the fighter gets the right money. Simple as that. Nowadays,
But what if the manager is your promoter, which is essentially what the Ali Act prevents from being the case? So you're not going to get the right money if your manager's in bed with your promoter or is even the same guy.
Right. Is that happening now?
Yeah, it's happening with Al Heyman.
But he has to be an advisor because this law's in place. They're going to take this law out of
that's
place.
just circumvention at its finest, right? So what I want to see is Top Rank They're not going to go for that, and Al Heyman is not going to go for that. So it will be. I'm talking about the league, right?
Yeah.
So you people will have options, right? People will have options.
I don't know if they have options now. I mean,
They
the
have
biggest
options.
fights, if this is the hub of boxing, what the people we've seen on the stage today are doing the biggest shows by far.
True, but there's the other promoters that were doing the biggest shows. They're not going to sit back and just watch these guys do shows.
They're going to team up.
Yeah, they're going to do their own shows.
Guys, where's the stable?
Other fighters need to fight. There's tons of fighters out there that needs fights. So where are they going to go?
They can come here. Where are the stars that are outside of either Riyadh season now, TKO, like these fights that are on Netflix, that are on DAZN?
They're there.
They're there.
I got an
right?
answer for you. I have an answer for you. They're with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what they're proposing in the future. When they propose what they're proposing in the future and minimize the pay, then it's going to be spread out evenly again, you know. And then people will say, "Well, I'm not." Of course, you're gonna go there if you throwing $1 billion at everybody. You know what I'm saying? I got this billion. Let me chop this up and get him. All right, they coming. But now, what you're doing in the long run, you've really baiting the switch. You're bringing them over, and if you're gonna just start paying them pennies, they're not gonna. Now Bob looks more attractive. Now Al looks more attractive. Right now they don't.
And then really it comes to, who's broadcasting them. Broadcasting deals. There's big broadcasters out there. It's moved on from HBO and Showtime. So it's more money, more data they need, and bigger fights, bigger events.
The flip side of that argument is that you'll get now the matchups that you want to see when you want to see them. There'll be no escape for these fighters from putting these matchups on in the time these fights should happen.
That's what we want.
Right?
Yeah.
So is that a trade-off that we're willing to accept? Right? There's no more superstars in boxing that can dictate $20-30 million a fight, but at the same time, it's more like a UFC model where you get a stacked card, you get constant competition, fighters fighting when they're supposed to be fighting each other, but they're not making nearly the money. There's a lot more entertainment value consistently. Where do you put the importance on the fighters being paid the most they can do in an open free market, or the fans getting the most they can get for their dollar?
Both.
I think it's a choice. I think at this point,
you got different people doing different things.
Yeah, that's
you got
what-
promoters over here
exactly gonna be
doing different promotion. They're trying to bring up talent. You got these guys over here. They're only dealing with top guys. Who's the top guy? They're looking for top. Yo, you're the top guy. Come over here. You need to box over in Riyadh season. Simple as
The
that.
top guys don't necessarily want to fight top guys at the intermediate level, right?
Right.
Like when he got 8 fights, 10 fights, he don't want to fight the number one contender. Maybe he did, but I'm saying
No, it's a build-up. You gotta
right.
build.
That's what I'm saying. You got to build it up. So like, if he fight the number one contender in his 5th fight or 6th fight, maybe he lose. But if he build his career the way on the trajectory that it occurs, then it don't happen. So I'm saying if you can have a fighter, right? You can have a fighter. This happened to me, right? You can have a fighter that the proposed fight come, right? And the fighter may not be ready for that fight. But then a year, 18 months later, he dog walk the guy. So it ain't always when the fans want to see it. Sometimes the fighter is not ready and you'll get a better fight if you just let it simmer a little longer.
And let me just say something as well.
Please.
You're talking about Benavidez. He's the boogeyman for them, man. He's the boogeyman for Canelo. So, Canelo was wise to stay away from him right now because right now, he's at the top of his game. And if he meets certain people out there, they're gonna end his game right now.
Well, if he's staying away from him now, Benavidez ain't gonna get no easier. Benavidez is now at 75.
Never gonna
Canelo
fight
ain't gonna get no
He's
younger.
never gonna fight Benavidez.
Never happening.
No, never,
And he shouldn't.
never. He's never.
I think he owes it to the people because I think that's a great matchup that he's not allowing the people to see. And I believe that he should make that fight. And I think he may make that fight as his last fight type of thing. He wants to go out like taking that chance. I'm gonna take the chance now, but you know, there's nobody else around. He's the last man done.
They got to give him every Wells Fargo in the world for him to take that fight.
Let me ask you one more question about this era thing, because you grew up, you fought in a time when it was still the like being undefeated was the thing, and even more so in the Mayweather era. But what we're talking about, this change happening, fighters that are elite, that are on the come up, people know that they're going to be stars, fighting each other sooner because TKO says, hey, that's the fight we want to see now, not 3-4 years from now. People are going to get losses, but again, the product that you get is going to remain significantly entertaining, and you'll get those fights earlier.
Plus you improve. A loss doesn't mean you lose.
Yes.
A loss means that you've made a couple mistakes that you need to improve on and go fix. And then you come back, you fix it. You fix the loss in that sense. So what? You've got a loss. Now it's really how you look in the future, how you come back.
Would you rather have fought in an era like that where you could have a loss and fight these guys earlier, get Tyson when you should have got him?
I don't know. I think God picked what he wanted my life to be like.
It's not going to be sustainable. Really, I don't think it's going to be sustainable. I think it's going to be a select few that's going to go that route, and it's going to be a good UFC-ish type boxing going on. But then you're going to still have regular guys, because you got to have all the sanctioning bodies. They're not going to die, but they're not going to be on board with all of this kind of stuff anyway. So they really going to have it's going to be pick and choose. And then you got, it's like the NBA and the ABA. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're going to have both sides, and the world championship belts are going to always mean something.
You think?
I think.
I think we're going to end up more with this, or like tanking Jake Paul. To get super money, they're gonna have to put on circus sensational.
No, they won't. No, they won't, because it'll be. The good thing about the other fighters is that now they ain't got to compete with a whole bunch of other stuff. All this stuff is readily available to them. So now when they come, when you got two guys that's under a promotional and under the standard every way. The way we always used to boxing, they still got the belt that Lennox Lewis had. They still got the belt that Muhammad Ali had. They still had the belt that Sugar Ray Leonard had. And they can talk about their lineage.
You have to remember, the league just started. It just started, but this WBC, WBO, all these guys have been around for a little while.
Decades.
Still remember the champions. You still got.
And they want to see them. And they fascinated by the belt.
And people want to come up. A lot of people say to me, I want to be WBC champion. I want to be undisputed champion like you.
Yeah.
Why can't they? Why do we have to stop them?
Is that a better system to have 4 belts, Ring Magazine in addition, or have one champion every weight class, everybody know whose it is?
I would love to.
It's hard to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, I would love there to be one champion for all weight classes, instead of 3 different champions for different weight class for the same weight class. I think that's annoying, because I hated that. I hated that when I was coming up. I was like, yo, these guys won't fight me, so I'll go fight this guy, and I go get the WBC belt. Even Riddick Bowe didn't want to fight me. Threw the belt in the garbage pan because he didn't want to fight me, because he knew I beat him in the Olympics and he would be taking that chance. But if it was a situation where it's just one belt, everybody's looking to win that belt.
Right.
Now it's a situation where everybody wants that belt that Muhammad Ali had, or Joe Frazier had, or different people, different stars.
I think we're in a transitional phase, because there's an argument for each side. Yes, the one belt.
I got a better
puts one person in charge, though.
Wait a minute. Hear mine. You gotta hear my side.
I'm ready.
Right. So what I say is, get the guys to fight, all the champions to fight, right? Whoever the champions are, get them to fight. And when you become undisputed, get an undisputed belt, a real undisputed belt. Mm-hmm. So now you don't have to worry about mandatory this, mandatory that, mandatory this, because you can't sustain being a 4 belt, 3 belt making all mandatories, right? So if you got undisputed, then everybody has to do whatever they want. You know who the champion is. So it can be other champions, if you want to call him that. What I'm saying, the main guy is the main guy.
This guy is rock. Like I kind of came into him with some force, and I was like,
You didn't move him at all.
Okay, wait, man. No,
We're
wait, Max.
debating the four-belt era. You gotta weigh in on this. You gotta weigh in on this.
What?
Is it better to have one champion in each division?
Of course.
But the four-belt era gives us opportunities for fighters to become champions.
No, it doesn't. No, it
and then
doesn't.
fight
No, what
each
it does, is create no champions. It creates belt holders that you think it's an opportunity, but if boxing was organized where he was the heavyweight champion of the world, we all knew that. He was actually the heavyweight champion of the world, and there are 15 guys with belts who weren't. Because there are 15 guys with belts that were never really champ. You were actually the heavyweight champion of the world because you knocked him out. That was the champion. You didn't win a belt. You won the heavyweight title. You're going down in history forever. And apologies to, Greg Page and Tony Tubbs, and those guys were never champ. They had belts. You were a champ because you beat the champion of the world. There's one champion of the world, and everybody else has a belt.
And
so
that person is the linear champion.
Yes. So by the way, and I work for Ring Magazine now, but I've been saying this for 25 years. No. I recognize the ring belt, and I have for 25 years because it's legit. Their policy crowns a champion and doesn't strip them for bullshit. I mean, that's the truth. So this gives an opportunity. But imagine a sport where the number 7 contender fighting the number 10 contender is making $500,000 for that fight. You don't need a belt. And the public can follow the sport. That's 1 through 10.
The thing we were debating is this, what we're expecting to be the UFC model to enter boxing.
Yep.
This has been the huge debate. Obviously, the Muhammad Ali Act, is it protecting fighters, or is it preventing us from getting the kind of matchups that we could get earlier in fighters' careers?
Would you say that what sport has made more of the fights that you wanted to see in the last 10 years? Boxing or MMA?
No, UFC in particular.
Right, UFC, right. UFC is synonymous with MMA. People who don't know the difference about combat sports might refer to MMA as the UFC. Just like you might say NFL or NBA or MLB instead of football, baseball, or basketball. We want that in boxing. Believe me, you want a major league of boxing that everyone follows and understands. And it should be simple as shit. Here's the champ, here's 1 through 10, and everyone should know who they are, right?
Who protects the fighters in that system?
Their managers.
But then their managers can be the promoters as well.
Let me ask you this. If I would not be involved, I'm pro-labor. I would not be involved in something if I didn't think it was good for boxing. If you notice, I haven't done anything in a couple of years, right? We have a shot right now. We have a shot at the first ever NFL, NBA, UFC, whatever you want to call it, of boxing. And what that will mean is likely the top fighters might not make as much as they would if it was just a laissez-faire marketplace, right? If it was, Dana said it, going out of business school. But the number 7 contender is going to be able to buy a house, leave some money for his kids, live well, drive a nice car, send his kids to a private school. The number 7, welterweight contender will be able to do that. Right now, half a dozen guys make all the money in boxing and everyone else has a day job. So which is better? That's what I'm saying. Forget about philosophically what in terms of the efficacy of boxing policy, what would you prefer? Do you want to see the fights that we want to see and have a lot of fighters living well? Or do you want to preserve a system that has not really worked in a long time? And for those who would say, eventually they're going to age out. Eventually they're going to age out and there'll be a new generation of fighters. And I would also say this, there are problems with every system. But my father used to tell me this, the perfect is the enemy of the good. The question is not, are there problems with this new system? The question is the new system better than the old system? So what would you prefer? You guys want business as usual? Walking down the street, does anyone know a fighter in America anymore? If you're not with Mexican or Mexican Americans, right? Right. One or two fighters they know? No one knows anybody. No, by the way, no one knows Terrence Crawford. Only the athletes know Terrence Crawford.
Canelo Benavidez, does it have to happen for Canelo's legacy to be cemented?
It'll happen. I believe that happens before Canelo retires.
Does it have to, though, for his legacy?
I told you it's going to be his last
Have
fight.
to.
Wait, listen to someone who knows.
Does it have to, Max?
Listen to someone who knows. You got one of the greatest heavyweights who ever lived right
By
here.
the way, welcome back to boxing. We needed you. We love you. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was fantastic. Those are those moments that you work your whole life to have these casual conversations with giants and legends and Hall of Famers and undisputed heavyweight champions of the last era who know your name and respect you enough to engage in these conversations. These are the goosebump moments. Man, this is what I worked my whole life to just be a part of this community. I might even get a little teared up here. Let's go. Radio Rahim with Lennox Lewis, with Max Kellerman, with Hasim Rahman. Let's go.